the Samyang 45mm 1.8 for Sony E-mount. Is it a good lens? Should you get it? Is it not worth it? We're going to talk about that in today's video. What's going on YouTube? Adrian here with another video. So for those of you who are new to the channel, I'm a wedding and portrait photographer. I talk about everything photography related. I even touch the business side of photography. So if you're interested in that type of content, be sure to subscribe, hit that notification bell so you won't miss any videos. So I was on the market for a mid-range prime lens, and I was looking for a cheaper option because these lenses can get really expensive. I'm not always trying to spend like $1,000 plus on a lens, so I got the Samyang 45. It was cheap. I just wanted to give it a try and just see if it worked for me. And let me tell you, this lens has really surprised me. I wasn't expecting a lot from it because of the price, but this lens packs a punch, and you know, it can hang with some of the big boys like, you know, my Sony 85, the Tamron 28-75. So this is a really good lens. So before I reviewed it, I wanted to test it out. We've shot a wedding with it. I've shot a senior session. So I've done a couple sessions with it, just played around with it. So I figured I could finally put out this review and tell you my thoughts on it. Now, I'm not gonna get super technical. That's just not my thing. I'm just gonna talk about stuff I like about it and just important things that I think you need to know about this lens. So the first thing I wanna really talk about is the price of this lens. And that's what really intrigued me into getting this lens, because I seen the price and I was like, that's a really good price, and I'm not trying to spend like $1,000. So I thought it was perfect. I hopped on it. So the price of this lens comes in at around $300, which is, I mean, that's a steal for a lens, because if you're looking to buy good glass, you're gonna pay a good amount of money. So honestly, that's a cheap price for a lens these days. So I hopped on it, like I said, and you know, it's not a price that's really just gonna break the bank. You know, it's something that you could afford. You know, I could easily afford this by just shooting one session, and then, you know, I have the money to buy it. So just from that perspective, the price alone, I think it's worth, you know, just buying this lens and giving it a try, because you're not spending so much money on a lens. It's just around $300. I feel like anybody could buy that, especially if you're a professional and you're doing paid sessions. So when I first got the lens and I started testing it out, I noticed that the focus was horrible. I mean, it was horrible. I didn't know what was going on. I thought it was something wrong with I just had a bad copy. I thought it was my camera. I didn't know what was going on, but the focus was freaking bad. So what I didn't know when I first got it is you have to buy a dock that you put your lens on, and I think it like calibrates it, and it improves the focus a lot. So if you do get this lens, make sure you get the dock. If you don't get the dock, you're gonna have focus issues. I think the dock comes in at around $60, and I think they have a combo where you could get the lens and the dock. I think it's about around $400, but I didn't know that when I first got it, so I just got the lens, and I had to end up getting the dock too. So make sure if you get this lens to get the dock so you can, you know, calibrate it. All right, so the next thing I want to talk about is the size of this lens. This lens is super small. It's the smallest lens I have now. It's super light. It's just one of those lenses you could take it anywhere. You know, it doesn't take up any space at all. You can put it in your pocket. It won't take up a lot of space in the camera bag. It's just so small. So, you know, that could be really useful for somebody who doesn't want, you know, a heavy. Some of these lenses can get really heavy, like the 70-200 will literally give you an arm and shoulder workout. You know, I've seen some of those 135s. Those are pretty bulky and heavy too. So if you're on the market for a lighter lens, then you definitely want to look into the Samyang. Now, as far as the build, it's made out of, it kind of seems like some kind of plastic material, and it does kind of feel cheap when compared to like the Sony 85 and some of the other lenses I have. But I was kind of expecting that. You know, you're paying $300 for a lens. You're not going to get like, you know, a super high-end kind of made lens. So I was kind of expecting that. So yeah, as far as the build quality, it's not the best, but I really could care less. And like I said, I didn't really expect it to be exceptional because I am only paying $300 for the lens. So that's the build quality. Now let's talk about the focusing. I know y'all want to know, how does it focus? That's the main thing I'm thinking about when I'm looking into a lens, is can it focus good? You know, that's just one less thing I got to worry about. If the focus is good, then that's good. If I have to sit there and worry about if I'm gonna be able to get focus, I don't want to fool with a lens like that. You know, but the focus is really good. Like I said earlier, you have to make sure you get the dock to fix the focusing issues. With my copy, it had focusing issues until I got the dock and I calibrated it. So make sure you get that. And once I did that, the focusing was great. The eye autofocus with the Sony a7 III worked super fast. We didn't experience, you know, missed shots and missed focus and stuff like that. So the picture quality really surprised me. I'm gonna be honest. This lens kind of reminds me of the Zeiss 55. And I was kind of, you know, trying to find something similar to that range. That's why I got this lens. You know, 45 isn't too far off from 55, but the colors, just the way the colors render, it just has that Zeiss kind of feel to it. And I really like just the way it renders colors, and it looks beautiful, you know, very contrasty and colorful. You know, when it comes to the sharpness, I don't think it's like super tack sharp like my Sony 85 and some other lenses, but I think it's sharp enough. And you know, for a lens that's $300, man, this lens is pretty sharp. I've shot it wide open at 1.8, it's still sharp, so the sharpness is there. And you know, I was just looking for the value of it. I feel like you get a lot of value with this lens just paying $300. It focuses good, you know, if you get the dock. The pictures look great, the colors render great, and the picture quality, you know, the sharpness is there. Overall, I think this lens is a must buy, especially considering the price. You know, you're not breaking the bank when buying this lens. It's relatively cheap. If you're on the market for a mid-range prime lens, you definitely want to check it out. It checks all the boxes that I'm looking for in a lens, you know, sharpness, good focusing, colors render good, and it's light. So yeah, I think this is one of those lenses that are kind of slept on. You know, you may see the price and think that it's not up to par with some of these other lenses, but like I said, this lens can hang with the big boys. It checks all the boxes that I know a lot of people are looking for in a lens. I definitely think you should check it out if you don't have this lens. I'm super surprised with the way it performed. I wasn't expecting a lot from the performance, and it does really well. Like I said, I'm just surprised by this lens, and I'm really impressed, so I definitely think you should check it out. I have another review on my channel that you might want to check out. It's the Sony 85 1.8, which is personally my favorite lens. I love that lens. So if you want to check out that review, I'm going to link it in the card up top. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a big thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. I post new videos every week. I will see y'all in the next video. Peace.